Hi guys, how are you doing? I hope you have been well. Thank you and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and I hope that you have subscribed, and if you have not, please don't forget to click on the red button that is written subscribe, and please turn on your notifications because this month of October things are going to get a little bit fiery. So there will be 2 new videos every week, that is on Wednesday and Friday, and I really hope that you're going to support me. This month I just basically want us to talk about dating and discordant couples. I am hoping to bring my parents on board, so please, you don't want to miss that. Thank you so much. And today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic, that is HIV and dating. So HIV and dating is a very interesting topic. Why do I say that? Because one, you find HIV is heavily related to matters of sex, and a lot of people tend to associate HIV with sex. So like, for example, when someone asks me, how did you get HIV, and I tell them I was born with it, then it becomes like a pity party. But when you tell someone I acquired HIV in a whole different way, then it becomes like people start judging you. People start thinking that you are promiscuous or something of that sort. So I know people who have been actually very faithful in relationships, and still they ended up being infected by that one partner who they were so faithful to. So I think it's just a good thing that you don't judge, and also don't laugh at people living with HIV, because you really don't know their story, and as long as the H in HIV stands for human, you are still prone to being infected. So basically the way society, or rather how we were taught that HIV is majorly a promiscuous disease, dating becomes a little bit tricky, and actually I've been down that road, and I know that I will be giving you very interesting stories about my dating life, and also positive living. But most of the challenges that even people living with HIV tend to bring to my attention is disclosure. When it comes, it's always advised that once you're living with HIV, and probably you're dating someone who is not living with HIV, you are advised to always disclose your status to them. But then a lot of times it becomes very difficult, because these people might have a different perspective or a different view of HIV than the one that you have. We are living in an era of undetectable viral load, and an era where discordant couples are a thing. But then again, still people don't really believe that you can actually be HIV negative and date a person who is HIV positive. So most of the time people ask me, when should I disclose in the course of our dating life? And I'm like, disclosure is more of a process than an event. You must start by finding out what is the perception of this person on matters HIV and on matters HIV and dating. And sometimes you can ask them and they will just be like, because I remember one time I happened to ask someone I had not disclosed to, and I told them, I asked them, what will you do if will you date a person who was living with HIV? And the answer he gave me was, why would he leave all the negative girls out there, all the HIV negative people out there, and date a person who was living with HIV? So already that was that set me aback, because I knew that probably this person was not open-minded enough to see that there is life, you can be able to date a person even if you're not of the same HIV status, and you can always stay undetectable. You can always stay HIV negative, and they can stay HIV positive. My parents, for example, are a discordant couple, and actually they've been a discordant couple for close to 30 years now. And a lot of people ask, how does that happen? Like, what is the science behind that? Is my father a HIV carrier, or what really goes on? I think they will answer that question, but on the story of being a HIV carrier, there is nothing like a HIV carrier, because you're either HIV positive or HIV negative. So the whole reason why that makes dating easier is, first of all, there is the use of PrEP, and also there is the consistent and correct use of condoms, and also there is the aspect of undetectable viral load, whereby if your positive partner is virally suppressed, they cannot transmit the virus to you, who is the negative partner. So it's all about the information. It's all about knowing the facts and having them right. Because, for example, personally, dating has been a really interesting thing in my life, because most of the people who want to date me either want to do it for pity, or they want to be seen as heroes, or they want to confirm if they can really get infected with HIV. And I remember a lot of, and actually most people don't even believe that I'm HIV positive. So some of them, when I disclose my status, they're like, no, you're just saying that as a way to reject me. But actually it is not true, because I am over here trying to be honest. And most people blame people living with HIV and say these people are dishonest, these people don't want to say the truth at the beginning of the relationship. But it's not that. Actually, it is more about, you're worried, what will my partner think about me, how will I explain to them, and for them to look at me as a normal human being and not as a person living with HIV. And that is actually a very, very huge problem when it comes to dating, because a lot of people are stuck in, do I tell them, do I not tell them? And then when it becomes even more challenging when your partner tells you, let's go and get tested, because then you don't even really know what you're going to do. You're stuck. Because I was once in such a kind of situation where someone told me, let's go get tested. So I agreed, because I had not told him of my HIV status. But then I was worried. I did not know, will he reject me after the test? Will he just leave me at the hospital and go home? So it was a whole mixed kind of reaction thing. But I think most men actually tend to have this weakness, where if they tell a lady, let's go get tested, and the lady agrees, they already confirm that that is not a HIV, that is not a person who is living with HIV. But immediately I agreed. Actually, this guy was like, I think in his mind he just told himself, this one cannot be HIV positive. So later on, when he came to learn of my status, I think he was kind of shocked. So he was like, why didn't you tell me? So I told him, I didn't tell you because I was afraid, because I am afraid of the stigma. And most of the time, the stigma is what keeps most people quiet, because it's not that you want to infect them, really. It's just that you're afraid they will reject you. And rejection, as much as it happens to everybody, is part of the things that people living with HIV don't exactly take very kindly. Another thing, actually, people tend, especially young people in most young relationships, they don't get tested. So you find people who want to date. So the first time probably they use protection, the second time protection, the third time protection. But when it comes to the fourth time, they start, the questions of babe, you don't trust me, come in, they're thrown in, and so they start trusting each other without knowing their HIV status. And then it becomes, the minute this person learns that now you have you are really infected, then it becomes a whole lot of a problem. So I know most young people don't like getting tested. I know most people are afraid of voluntary HIV tests, but nowadays they even self-test kits. So just buy the self-test kits, take it home to your girlfriend or your boyfriend, and just get tested, just to know your status. It's not even for the purposes of being comfortable in having unprotected sex, but basically it's for the purposes of knowing your health. So I know later on I'm going to demonstrate the whole usage of the self-test kit, but for now I think I have to stop here, because HIV and dating is kind of wide. So next week I'm going to do a part 2 of this video, so stay tuned, continue subscribing, share, and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much.